And here comes a level, none other than level 10 rune crafting. That is going to be necessary for this video. Before we begin today's loot video, I first must complete the quest Temple of the Eye. So while we're doing so, I should be expecting quite a few rune crafting levels, so that'll be nice. And if you guys are unfamiliar with the account that we're on right now, this is just my 20 defense pure. I use this account often just for PKing related things in the wilderness as it pertains to bots. And alongside that, through the years, I've done some side videos on him as well, and he'll be doing a lot of work for us today in this video. All the way up to 18 rune crafting, and with that now we can complete the quest. So let's see what rune crafting level we get to after all of this XP, 5,000 additional, and it looks like we went to level 21 and then to level 27. And now that we've completed that quest, we can start today's loot video. This is going to be a 20-hour loot video broken down into two parts. For the first part, the first 10 hours, I'm going to be spending all of that time at the chest, and I'm going to be picking up all of the drops that people leave on the ground. As shown on screen here, usually when people are searching the chest, they tend to drop a bunch of talismans, runes, among many other things, and anything that'll be dropped at the bank while people are bank standing in a popular world, I will also be picking up for 10 hours total. So let's go ahead and hop into world 490, where it is the most populated at Guardians of the Rift, and we'll wait for the game to end so these players can search the rewards that they're going to get and hopefully drop quite a bit of them on the ground so that we can make some money in this 10-hour video. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we are scavenging today, but before we continue, this video is brought to you by Boot.Dev. Boot.Dev is building the smartest way to master backend development by tackling the hardest problem with e-learning: boredom. Their platform uses tactics learned from modern game design to push ambitious students towards their goal, a career in backend development. Through hands-on lessons that balance theory with practice and an active Discord community, students are prepared to tackle technical interviews and forge a successful programming career. You're going to be learning back-end web development from start to finish in the Python and Go programming languages. And the folks at Boot.Dev believe the smartest way to learn code is to make sure you're never bored. Boot.Dev is online, self-paced, and feels like a captivating RPG game. The platform is designed to get you writing a ton of code because getting your hands on the keyboard and shipping projects is the only way to really learn. They never want a student feeling like they spent money on something that isn't helping them, so they do offer a 30-day no questions asked refund policy, a free demo of every course, and its interactive features. Not everyone has the means to pay for a membership, so all of their content is free to read and watch in guest mode. A paid membership unlocks interactivity and the game that goes with it. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description box and use my code MrNoSleep to get 25% off your first payment for Boot.Dev. That is 25% off your first month or your first year, depending on the subscription that you choose, and a huge thank you to Boot.Dev for sponsoring today's video. And with that being said, let's get back into scavenging. First item I picked up was a needle. Now, in any other circumstance, I would never pick up a needle off the ground, but that is the purpose of today's video. Of course, this is a two-parter. Now, you may be wondering, what's the second part, Mr. No? Well, let me tell you what the second part is. So 10 hours is going to be spent here at the chest, as you can see, accumulating more talismans that I'll ever need in my life. And then the next 10 hour, we are going to be spending inside the Guardians of the Rift at the altars, picking up the runes that people drop. Looks like we finished the first hour here. Got quite a few talismans, 65k total. Little bit of junk in there from the bank standards, but I will certainly take it. The majority of what I'm going to be receiving as it goes for getting towards as much profit as possible will really just be these talismans here. Talismans are not worth that much money, as you'll see once we get to the price check. A few of them are a couple hundred GP, some of them are under 100 GP, and then a select few are over 1,000 GP. But it seems to me that all of them are dropped commonly. I don't think a lot of people here, consider these talismans to ever be worth a value or worth keeping for one day, where they could potentially go up. We've seen it happen in the other RuneScape before, where talismans shot up almost overnight to ridiculous prices. So you never know what can happen in the future. So we are going to be keeping all the talismans from this video. You never know, might be a good investment one day. But other than that, we can expect quite a few needles on the ground. Aren't worth that much money, but they are stackable, so you might as well pick them up. And one thing I just was not expecting was people to be dropping random stuff at the bank. I was just expecting strictly talismans and and Guardian of the Rift drops, maybe occasionally get some runes here and there. People usually tend to keep their runes. Maybe Ultimate Iron Man drops some of them that they don't need, but overall I see most people keeping all their runes when they're searching the chests. I did manage to get some very strange items. We're at the halfway point now, and we've managed to get 3 catalytic talismans and just a few elemental talismans. It looks like someone was also opening up some eclectic implings, and don't mind me, I'm just going to pick up all of the drops that he was discarding, and alongside that we would have a talisman spawn time to time. Most of this video was done in the daytime. I really got lucky seeing some death and chaos runes on the ground there. That virtually never happens. Yeah, it's just very rare to see runes here. Occasionally you'll see some pure essence and whatnot, but yeah, I mean, for the most part it's just talismans, and alongside that, all of the loot that I saw underneath people at the bank, well, you can just use your imagination for that. I mean, we were getting all sorts of things, burnt food, as well as a lot of just random armor pieces. I think I had so many different bronze items. We're down to 2 hours left here already. Got some more runes in this inventory, so I was fortunate for that, and you know, some oysters as well as some raw tuna. I don't know where that came from, a random orange tree seed even. But yeah, looking at the bank tab, yeah, pretty accomplished. I mean, we're definitely getting a lot of items, and yeah, even 25 random nature runes spawning can bring a smile to your face after just standing here for 10 hours waiting for things to appear. Very strange video idea, but I've always wanted to do this because I just love doing Guardians of the Rift, and I've always been curious if you can actually make money from doing, you know, the strange activity of picking up other people's trash. Well, 10 hours has gone by. Part 1 is officially done. We got 4 catalytic talismans, 7 elemental, over 100 chaos, and yeah, you can just see it for yourself on screen there. A lot of random junk, some low-tier seeds and armor pieces, pie dishes and beer cans, salt and seeds. I mean, you name it, we got it. But a total of 750k was made in 10 hours of picking up trash at the Guardians of the Rift chest, as well as talismans, trash and talismans. Well, there you guys have it. 10 hours was spent, 750k was made. It comes out to be about 75k an hour. Maybe you have the potential to make more if you're in a more populated world, or if it's just extra busy there. But now let's move on to part 2. All right, so let's start that 10-hour timer once again. I know, it's actually crazy that I'm still doing this video. You know, I had so much doubt coming into this one. I just want you guys to know that. It's such a strange idea, but someone's got to do it. And I do this so you guys don't have to. Now, for the rest of time, anyone who's curious to see if this is actually worth doing, it's, you know, it's going to be proven today if it's worth it or not. And as you can see, this is a little bit different. This time we're spending 10 hours inside the altar, and we are picking up any rune that people are dropping. And I'll tell you, after spending 10 hours here, not on just one account, but on 2, we're going to get into that in a little bit, I can tell you all of the runes that people drop most commonly and least commonly. So I'm just going to say those chaos runes and nature runes were nothing shy of just pure luck. Most of the time that I camped the blood, death, chaos, law, and nature altar, I would almost never see runes appear on the ground. And as a matter of fact, the cosmic altar was the all-time worst. Every time I went in there, not a single person dropped their cosmic runes. Now, I imagine people have different reasons for dropping different runes. Maybe you're using magic imbue, maybe you're using combination runes, so you have to have a certain elemental rune state in your inventory. But no matter the case, you know, you figure so many people are doing this minigame, usually 200 at a time, that there's always going to be someone, for some strange reason, dropping runes, like 210 law runes there. That, I will say, only happened one time. I almost never received law runes, and the few times that I would, it would only be a few, you know, maybe 20 or so. Now, from the first hour, it looks like I made 121k. I spent more time prioritizing the higher tiered runes, which actually ended up backfiring for the rest of the video, but really successful first hour. I did decide to sell everything there, and I wanted to try out the ZMI altar to see if people still dropped runes here. So I stayed here for 10 minutes, both outside the teleport spawn and in the altar itself, and nothing. Nobody dropped anything. So yeah, I was just a little confused because I remember years back people did drop runes there, but I guess not anymore. I haven't been there in a long time, so I guess things changed. So let's go ahead and finish the other 9 hours back at GOTR to complete part 2. Now, since the altars do change every 16 seconds or, you know, something like that, you can't really cover every single altar alone. So I did want to bring my second account, none other than my 20 defense peer, to help me cover a few altars while I cover certain ones on my main account. So here we have the 20 defense peer. He's just wearing graceful with a blue party hat because, yeah, I haven't really done any rune crafting on him. But we also have the main on the other side, and we're just camping 2 portals at a time. I noticed that fire rune as well as water rune, those 2 specific runes were dropped all the time, constantly, consistently, and you also get the combination rune form too. So if you're in the fire altar, you can expect occasionally to receive some smoke runes, but not that often, and same goes with lava runes as well. Now you would think that the only way to really make money is to camp the altars of the higher tier runes, for example blood, law, and death, but as I've said before, I probably spent over an hour, maybe even 2 hours combined camping those altars specifically, and other than the very few amounts of runes that I did receive in the beginning of the video, those altars just kept striking out. People would continue to runecraft, but they didn't drop the runes, which is understandable. I mean, you'd have to be crazy to drop blood, death, or law runes, anything like that, you know? So that's why, like 3-4 hours into this grind, I really just wanted to prioritize elemental runes. That's where I saw the most quantity of runes. Maybe not the best quality, right? But chaos was the only one that was worth something, that occasionally I would get some chaos runes and when people would leave the altar, but not enough to, you know, try to prioritize it every game. So you're gonna see a combination and a mixture of runes here throughout this whole 10-hour, that if you know, start a fresh account and want to be you know, pick up drops off the ground only Iron Man, I'm sure someone might do it. This is actually a really good place to get runes, no doubt about it. I mean, we got thousands of every tier you can imagine, except of course the higher tiered ones, which will result in the most profit. But it is going to be interesting to compare, you know, how much money can we make spending 10 hours picking up runes at GOTR. Of course we are using 2 accounts, so I kind of have an edge there, but I feel like you almost have to for this type of thing, and it's very manageable. You're just literally waiting for things to spawn on the ground. If you have ground items turned on in RuneLite and you make your value set to 1 so that everything pops up for you, then this can be very AFK to do. You just have to pay attention to your screen, but it almost requires no typing and very little clicking. So I was actually able to do a lot of stuff on my Iron Man on the side while doing this video, which made it much more bearable, because spending 20 hours here took me like 4 days. And if you've been at Guardians of the Rift in the last week and you've been curious as to why I've just been standing in all of your portals, well, now you know. And you know, who doesn't love that bone staff fashionscape with that Guardians of the Rift outfit, as well as the Eldonist ward? I mean, it's on point. I gotta give myself some credit for that. And here's the body altar. Very strange one, but I did accumulate decent amount of body runes on both accounts. I didn't end up needing any staminas or strange fruits for this whole 10 hours. So with that being said, 20 hours has been completed. 10 hours of picking up at the chest and 10 hours of picking up in the altars. So I made 736k from 10 hours of picking up items at the chest, and I made 363k from 10 hours of picking up runes on this account, of course. So now let's go ahead and check the main. So the overall loot on this account in 10 hours of picking up runes comes out to be none other than 530k. Remember, that coin stack is from the initial first hour. Well, I was always curious to know how much GP can be made doing this. Clearly not enough, but this was a long 20-hour grind. I think the only regret I have is giving up a little prematurely on the higher tier rune altars. Maybe I would have made more profit had I just camped there the whole time, but I would have gotten a lot less footage, and you know, it really just depends on luck when it comes to people dropping things. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the very strange video that I had for you today. Don't forget to check out Boot.Dev and use code MrNoSleep for 25% off. And a big thank you to all of the YouTube channel members, with of course a special shout out to Angelzblood, DeceptionZ, xXzoticx, and Necrofear. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, MrNoSleep out.